You're gonna get stalked. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
So stupid.
Stalked.
Why would you focus on the corn aspect over the shark one?
I got a lot of problems with this movie, and um,
I remember the shark attacking a helicopter. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, that was
the-
probably the best part of the movie, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I don't know. You didn't like all the weird conservative jokes in it. I had
Great White Lives Matter.
I had to look up this director. We'll get into it. Hold on.
Yeah, because I'm like, was this real or were they? I don't know. Okay, let's look at
Dave
it.
Cornshark was
This-
his name.
Yeah. This is episode 228. I am Dave Cornshark.
God damn it. I've got nothing. I'm Kit.
I am the shark goddess, Chi-Chi Matol.
We are talking about 2021's Sharks of the Corn, directed by Tim Ritter, who is apparently very Christian.
Ooh, ooh.
There's an
That-
interview.
That explains the shark boner.
Yeah. So it's
Oh my
weird
God.
because there's like an interview with him on his website that has not been updated since like I think 2018, where he talks about his like Christian values and like being religious and shit. But then he makes like apparently like his like movies kind of earlier in his career, because I guess he started directing at like 17, are like super gory and shit. And so a bunch of people were complaining on like the Letterboxd reviews that this one was not.
Yeah.
But I'm also, after watching this, not at all interested in looking at any of his other movies.
Absolutely not.
I'm just warning both of you, based on this pick at Skull Forest, you guys got what's coming to you for next week.
Oh, jeez. So I feel like, first of all, if I knew that this movie was 2 hours long, I definitely wouldn't have picked it.
Yeah, so like when it first came out, I remember like the three of us were like, "Oh hell yeah, we're definitely doing this." And I
Yeah.
remember looking and I saw it and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck this."
Yeah, I need to start paying attention because
I
it keeps
felt so
getting
deflated.
me.
So deflated when I saw the runtime. I'm like, oh, fuck
It
me.
Yeah,
took
because-
me even longer because it kept buffering at work. Because even though I had fucking 3 days off, I for some reason just did not watch any of the movies I needed to watch for this week.
You gotta work somewhere with better internet.
Dude, it's fucking
know.
brutal. Like, you like on nights when I'm like not in a rush to get something like a movie watched, it's like whatever. But like I was like, fuck. I was like, I'm not gonna have time when I get home because I need to like kind of go straight to bed. And so I was just like, it was like every, I don't know, 8 minutes it would buffer, and I was like, oh my god, why is this movie so long?
This movie is already like interminable. Like every scene just goes on for years.
So
I can't fathom doing that.
no, because this is another one of those movies where I personally think there's too much stuff going on in this movie. There's like 5 subplots. I think the
Oh my god,
overall arc.
I lost track.
Yeah, I know. Like honestly, I think the overall idea of it is pretty good for like a stupid shark movie. And I feel like if they cut some of the side stuff down and did
60
more shark,
minutes.
then it could have been just like a fun, goofy thing like We Just Shark or, any of those other ones that we've done. But it's just like so long and convoluted with all of these characters. And then it's just like that thing where people are obviously just like improvising what they're saying. So it's like a lot of people saying the same thing, like in different ways to each other. And
that's the thing is like I can applaud, especially when it's somebody that like doesn't have like a budget, you know, like when someone does something kind of like ambitious like this, where you have like a real sort of plot or more than one going on that all like converge into one at the end. But it was like Kit said, like there's scenes that just like you could tell people are like sitting there for like 20 seconds trying to remember their lines that they just don't cut away from.
Yeah.
And I was like, you could have easily cut like 20 minutes out of this fucking movie of that and fucking stock footage of like horses running and fucking whatever
and drone
else.
footage of
I will say full half a star for the dudes in the helicopter that has a full-on microphone just hanging over his ear to look like a fucking
headphones. Yeah, that
I was
so
like,
funny.
Genius. Like, I don't know why you felt like you had to have the microphone, but the fact that you put a full like stage microphone on is incredible.
Yeah.
Or else this would have been a full-blown 0 stars somehow. I would have figured out a way to make Letterboxd let me do 0 stars.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I was like into the whole like overall story and like the stuff at the end, but the characters, I just like can't deal with the fucking stupid ass jokes and like the COVID jokes and stuff like that.
Oh, the COVID jokes, like, the numerous.
I'm just like over it.
Here's a bunch of weapons that we took off peaceful protesters. The Great White Lives Matter fucking joke, like.
That's why I'm confused.
It just kept building, and I was like, I hate everything about this.
Especially when it was coming from like the one guy who was like the Bigfoot reporter, and I was like, he doesn't seem like the kind of person that would be making COVID jokes. The CIA agent, sure, but the Bigfoot guy, I don't know. It was. Anyways, let's just get into it. Do you have any other free thoughts?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, it wasn't like I said, if this was like an hour-long movie, I think it could have been like stupid, like fun in a stupid way, because they have, you know, they're using like little like, shark can puppets.
The premise is fine. Like we're obviously way on board for like dumb bullshit like this, but it's just too long and like the jokes are just wildly unfunny.
Yeah.
So it's like that didn't even help.
Again, obviously, the acting from almost everybody is terrible. I did like the guy who I call Sharkman. He's the serial killer. I thought he was funny. I liked him.
You're off the podcast.
Because he kept doing. Okay, he wasn't great, but he kept doing this thing where he would like make his face as if he were pretending to be a shark. And there was this one really prolonged scene where, like, I call her Lady Cop, is driving him to, like, his site where he's been burying all of his victims. And they show, like, her looking into, like, her rearview mirror. And he's just back there, like, going, like, ah, and, like, making it. And I just thought it was really funny.
Oh, man, I hated him.
He just wanted to be a shark.
I guess... in comparison to everyone else in this movie, he's probably the best actor in it. Because at least he like made a choice and stuck with it. But like,
yeah, I will say too, we do get the plot of this movie is kind of a mix of like Jaws and Hammerhead Shark Frenzy. So I was like, okay. We're doing this, I guess.
Real quick before we dive into it. Do you think this is the worst shark movie we've covered?
Yes.
Because I'm trying to debate if like this or Sharkasaw Women's Prison Massacre was worse, and I want to say this just because it was way longer for no reason.
I'm gonna say it's this or Ouija Shark, but I'm thinking this.
I'm saying
like this at least had sharks in it.
And corn. Yeah, I love corn.
And a scare shark. There were I would say that maybe Shark and Saw or whatever the fuck it was called was worse, because barely any sharks, also all CG sharks, and there was at least like attempts made in this one.
I guess at least the shark ate a lot of kids in this one.
literally, we got 2 kid deaths, which is so uncommon. And then, spoiler alert, they're shark people, which I thought was so cool, even though one of them actually looked more like a fish person and not a shark, but that's beside the point.
I think I would have respected this movie a lot more if, like, every shark in it, instead of the puppet, was just, like, a dude in that weird fucking face mask.
Yeah.
You know, like, at the beginning, he's just wearing the fucking, I can't remember what they're called, that were, like, big beginning of
like
the pandemic that everybody realized didn't work.
Like a gator.
Yeah, gator.
I never heard that term. I called it a neck mask.
Yeah, they're.
But literally, it's like a tube that you put over, so it will be covering your nose and your mouth, but you can pull it down and then it rests around your neck like a scarf. But it's spandex, I guess. I don't know. So a lot of people in this movie wear them with like shark face printed.
Yeah, that's what all the sharks should have been.
Yeah. Although I have to say, there's something to me really endearing about movies where they just take like a plastic toy shark and run around, and it's like the person holding the camera is also holding the shark. I don't know why, but I find that so funny. Okay. Before I start, I have been fighting a sore throat all day, so I might have to stop and drink water, and I have a cough drop in my mouth, so let's hope I don't choke.
No water.
Here we go.
It's called I Hope You Suffer for a reason.
Podcast hard mode.
I will be drinking straight moonshine from now on.
Yeah, 2 minutes in, you're just passed out.
Literally. Okay, so we see a thing on screen that says the story you are about to see is based on true events.
Mm-hmm.
I will, yeah, definitely. I will also say I kind of, I understand that they were just ripping off the title, but I wanted this movie to literally be like Children of the Corn, but with sharks, and that's not what it was. And I challenged somebody to just do that instead.
Instead, it was, how many references to Jaws can we cram into one movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want He Who Swims Behind the Rose.
Okay, so we get corn stalks and tuba music, and credits. And it looks like somebody running through corn, and then turns out that it is a shark puppet. It's not a puppet, it's like a shark toy.
Yeah, it's literally like hand puppet that you just see flying in the air at people.
Then it hard cuts to I called it a carnival because it is I thought it was a carnival, but it is a corn festival where somebody is roasting a bunch of corn, and I desperately want to go to it.
Welcome to the Midwest.
I love corn so much. There's
Revelation.
A couple... No, I've always known that.
No, I just meant for everybody else.
Oh. I think I wear corn on my sleeve. Okay, so there's a couple picnicking, and the guy is wasted on corn liquor, he says.
No, he says he's drinking, because all he ever usually has is corn liquor that he's drinking, I don't know, whatever fucking other kind of liquor it is.
Oh.
He's like, usually it's just corn liquor because, and then he just like gestures around.
That sounds gross.
Anyways. Was vodka like potato or something?
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Or that's what it's supposed to be. Yeah. I don't know, but I don't know.
Normally it's like wheat and barley for other stuff, so. He is the corn eating contest winner. So from now on, I call him Corn King.
For the
next and she says, yeah, did they ever release him from... Anyways, she says they're just like kind of like making small talk or whatever. Again, every scene in this movie is like 20 minutes long of people making small talk. So she's essentially just talking about how like she's heard weird rumors about the corn around here and about how they use like all these chemicals and there's like weird stuff going on. And she
there's some strange stuff happening with this corn.
Yeah, because they are using alien growth hormones,
mm-hmm.
Whatever that means. Then we see aliens. Then we see a fin swimming through the corn. And the two of them like argue about the corn being weird, I guess. And then she says that she wants to play quote unquote hide and seek, wherein she runs into the corn, takes off a piece of clothing, and leaves it for him to like follow her trail. She goes in the corn, she's running around throwing stuff, and she comes upon I think I settled on calling it a scare shark, because shark crow I think is a different thing. So there's a scare shark. It's literally a scarecrow, but it has like a shark mask on it. And a zucchini owner.
I thought it was like a stalk of corn.
It could
Yeah, I
have
thought it
been.
was like an ear.
I wasn't looking at it too hard, to be honest with you.
That'd be extremely weird. That it says
This is right.
zucchini out in the
That's
cornfield.
cool zucchini sharks.
There you go. She leaves some clothes on it for him to find. So he comes along and sees it, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to rest for a minute. And he sits down on the scarecrow shark and falls asleep.
And it makes a noise, obviously, that
Yeah, I'm not.
corn went into him when he sat down on it, so
Yeah.
great.
Gross. The sharks are zooming through the corn. She runs away, but the shark gets her. It looks
Terrible.
very weird. It's just like fur laying on the ground, and then the shark puppet is like right in front of the camera, and then they put like CG blood splatter. It was very startling looking, but like not in a good way. Then we see a weird like shark altar, where there's like photos of sharks and shark teeth and shark jaws everywhere. And there's a guy, this is Sharkman, who puts on a neck mask
Jonathan
thing.
Sharkman.
There you go. That has a shark pattern on it. So when he puts it over his, like, wears a mask, puts it over like a mask, it has like a shark print on it. Like he's got a shark mouth. And
So
then there's,
stupid.
but then he has like a neon orange, like beanie on with it. And I was like, I don't really know about that. He's like looking at himself in the mirror and going like, being a shark. And there's flashes of him like killing women, and also, he kills women with the shark jawbone. So it's like a full jawbone.
They would break in
of
half
shark teeth.
immediately.
Those things are
Literally.
so brittle. So brittle.
And in the background, there's also images of sharks swimming around in the water. And then his shark tooth necklace is magic or something because it glows. So he goes out into his hotel hallway, and he sees a lady there who makes a coronavirus joke, because he's wearing a mask. And then she asks if he wants to party, and she just has a needle for whatever reason. And they go back to his room. She's looking at his shark altar and is like, oh, this stuff's pretty cool, actually. And then he starts like telling her about shark facts. He's mostly talking about the great white shark, which is so pedestrian, but it's fine. And he says, we are one with them. Then she asks if he's George Costanza. So there's our
yeah.
Seinfeld connection.
This made
I
me
was
so
like,
mad.
Finally.
Poor
And
George.
then-
Deserves better.
He was like, he's my inspiration, and I was like, George Costanza didn't murder somebody with a fucking
I was
shark,
like,
shark
do you
teeth.
even know who he is? Then he pretends like he's going to put the shark jaw on her head like a crown, but then he starts like wrestling with her and like fake hitting her with it, and she's like, and like laying on the floor and stuff. Then he, I don't know, does something so that her mouth is kind of split open. And I thought it looked pretty good for what the first kill that we saw. I was like, all right, they put effort into this one, because then they show it for like 20 minutes. So Then he starts doing a chant where he is offering her as a sacrifice and talking about how there's some kind of war or something coming, which is always true. Then he takes her body to the cornfield and buries it. So now there is a constable who, it's like him and this other cop or security guard. I don't really know. There's like the there's like the cop, the lady cop who's like a main character, but then there's also like the constable and a different kind of, looks like a security guard. I'm not sure. But they find the woman's body from the opening scene, and the cop is asking the Corn King about what happened. And so he tells him like literally what happened. And then the constable accuses him of killing the girl. And he's like, it wasn't me. Like, I don't know what happened. I passed out. I didn't hear anything. And then he said, oh, yeah, I guess you're going to tell me it could have even been Bigfoot. And then I wrote Old Sasquatch, and I can't remember the way the guy said it, but it made me laugh really hard because it was so weird. Sasquatch. I don't remember.
Yeah,
it was weird, though.
I think I blocked all this out because I don't remember any of this.
He had a strange way of talking, as they say.
This is definitely one of those movies where Katie could just be making everything up. And it'd be like, yeah, I remember that. That was weird.
I'm not going to lie. Maybe there is, like, this had everything. It had a cult. It had sharks. It had Bigfoot. Like,
if I look at Letterboxd and you have more than a 1 star for this, you are off the podcast for real.
You will be happy to know that I just gave it 1 star.
3 stars.
Yeah, it's like 3.5 stars. I'm like, God damn it.
Don't look, I'm changing it right now. No, just kidding. The constable asks the Corn King about his brother, because we find out that his brother is a writer for the Corn Gazette or something, wherein he writes about Bigfoot and whatnot.
Is this when
the Corn Gazette?
Is this when the commercial happens?
No, that's later.
God, this shit fucking... God. I was like, what is happening?
I thought my brain was failing me actively. I was like, did I take some strong drugs and didn't realize it? Did someone like spike my little Hostess donuts?
Yes. So he's just like talking about him, and the constable thinks that they did it together for whatever reason, and then he arrests the Corn King.
Corned.
Now there are 2 people wearing all black, and they have ski masks on. And they're sneaking in somewhere where there's booby traps and also people guarding it that are wearing shark masks and also capes. It's a look. I think I might be that for Halloween, to be honest with you.
It's pretty bold.
Yeah. They're walking around with guns and shit. Then they sneak into this, like, area where there is a glass container that has, I called it the specimen, and we find out later that it is a stillborn shark pup. But one of my favorite things in this movie is that there are just they do explain it later, but at this point I was really confused because there would be times when an image of Stonehenge would just show up with lightning, and this is the first time we see it, and I was like, what is happening here? They pick up the shark pup, there's images of Stonehenge, then there's an alarm, so they run and they explode the structure. It's
I don't remember any of this.
Same.
You don't remember the explosion?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what was happening here, but I remember the explosion.
Yeah,
I saw people running out of a...
They showed it like 3 times.
It's like a portable from school. Like, people are running out of one of those, and then it exploded. And I was like, what the shit is happening right now?
Yeah.
And I stopped paying attention again.
So then we meet Benchley. I think that's his name.
Stupid.
I might have wrote it wrong. He's sitting in a car, and the 2 people that have the specimen pup deliver it to him. He's going to sell it. So he gives them money, and he's like, I'll give you the rest of the money when I sell the specimen. And they're like, okay. And then he pulls out a blow dart, shoots him with the blow darts, and kills him. So plot thickens here.
No, we don't even. He just says like they're gonna have a nap, and then you just never see him again.
But then later he tells someone he took care of them. So I was like, wait.
I feel like that's the dream. Take a nap and never be seen again.
Yeah.
Well, that's the dirt nap. So,
That makes sense.
Sounds pretty good. Dirt's pretty soft, so.
okay,
It
here it
can
is. This was like very confusing because now there's just some lady looking in a cornfield for something, with at nighttime, aka terrible blue filter over it, and she finds Bigfoot.
Day for night.
And I was like, oh, Ella, it's a commercial. So it is a real estate commercial for Jonathan.
Fucking so weird.
Real estate number is 1-800-BIG-FEET.
I hate it.
It
I hate
was like
it so much.
so random and out of place because we're not even like introduced to the brother technically yet. Like it's just a random commercial. Because this is when we get introduced to Lady Cop, who I was confused because I thought it was the sex worker that Sharkman killed in the beginning, and it's just because you find out that they're sisters. So it is the same actor, just with a blonde hair. So.
Yeah, it's good casting.
So she's sitting in her car, just chilling. How'd she be?
In the middle of
Shark-
the woods.
Yeah. Sharkman drives by in his car and like stops and makes eye contact with her and zooms off, and like he's still wearing his shark mask and stuff, and she was like, well, that's weird. So then she pulls him over, and when she comes up to the car, she sees all kind of murder paraphernalia in the back seat.
Oh no, they flash to like literally what are supposed to be cut up body parts, even though it's like, you know, it's blatantly like a dummy, but like
Yeah.
it's just
Not
like,
even like a good dummy. It's like a store mannequin. It's like, and then you know, like a fake eyeball and like various meats of sorts, and then knives and stuff. Yeah, you know, murder paraphernalia. So she arrests him. Okay, this is when we finally meet Jonathan, who is Shark King, who is Corn King's brother. You know, the writer for the corn, because he is using his drone over some cornfields, and he sees sharks swimming in them, and that's when his brother calls him and says, "I've been arrested for murder. Can you come help me?" Then it switches back to Benchley, who is trying to sell the specimen to this like fake Godfather mafia group situation, but there's a child
this
in
group is
in the group.
incredible.
The child is wearing a black and white striped like Beetlejuice costume, and then they're, you know, I don't know. It's a very weird situation. They go on, they have this like whole conversation, and I have no idea what the fuck they were talking about. It doesn't matter anyways. And so essentially Benchley is like, I don't trust you. I want my money, and then I'll give you a map to where the specimen is. So I'll take my money and you can go get it. So they send the kid and one of the other people to go get the specimen, and they give him the money. So they go to find it, they get it, and are immediately attacked by a shark. And essentially they just fall over, and their bodies are squirted with fake blood, and they're dead.
Not the guy that repeats everything the boss says. Still alive though.
Yeah.
Cut his character. You could have cut out 20
He
minutes.
also is constantly eating something. He's like pulling something out of his pocket and eating it, which it was
Same.
annoying to me.
Upsetting.
Eventually runs off into the woods, ends up coming into the corn and finding the little pup and is also attacked, but he like makes it out the other side of the maze, and he's still fine. And then the mafia boss guy is like, don't worry, like, I put a tracker in his money, so, like, let's go get the helicopter. I was like, why? Why? Lady Cop, meanwhile, is interrogating the Sharkman. There is a joke about defunding the police that was really stupid.
Oh, my God.
And this scene goes on and on and on. They talk for forever. I thought it was very stupid that there's like wanted posters behind them in the office of Ted Bundy and the Zodiac Killer, and I was like, what fucking year is this supposed to be?
Yeah, and then there's like some weird shit like you can see later in some of the shots that are like some like a poster in French for something that looks like some kind of movie poster. The effort put into this police room is brutally terrible.
I mean, yeah. So they're just like talking. Sharkman says he's been driving around killing people. It's his work. He is known as the Great White Ripper. So like,
no one's called him that.
It also doesn't seem like anyone in
stupid.
this town realizes when later he says he's killed 666 people that anybody's going missing.
Nobody cares. The scene is really stupid because he's like, yeah, I killed a bunch of people. I like don't know. It could be hundreds. And she's just like, are you trying to tell me that you're the Great White Ripper that's been driving around killing people with a shark teeth and whatever? And it's like, yeah, who the fuck else would be doing that? Like, you have all the evidence right there. I don't know. Anyways, so basically, Sharkman explains that the people that he's been killing, are sacrifices for Chichimatl, the Great White Shark Goddess.
Duh.
I hate how every time someone says this fucking name, they say it differently.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. And so then I was basically just like, this is just another Hammerhead Shark Frenzy plot, because like the whole point of it is because they want to resurrect. Well, I mean, this is like a mixture of that, Jaws, and Nightmare Shark, because remember there was like a shark god in that one too. So basically they're trying to resurrect the shark god so that she can make everybody shark people. They're going to be the Sharkanoids from deep space or whatever
God, I wish that was
says.
real.
It could be.
Shark people would be so sick.
Then he's talking about how there's like pulses or something that come from Stonehenge that are signaling him when to kill and stuff.
This Stonehenge shit was baffling to me.
It was so weird that I kind of liked it, because I wish they would have just never explained Stonehenge at all. Okay, so yeah, this is when, he reveals that there's a shark cult. And then he asks, then the lady cop is like, here's like a picture of my sister. Have you seen her? And then he said, I don't know. I probably offed her. And
I don't know if you've noticed, there's only 8 people in this town anymore because I killed all of them.
Yeah, right.
Literally. But she doesn't really react to the fact that he just said he probably killed her. She's just like, well, why don't you take me to where all the bodies are buried? So they're going to go and drive for the rest of the 40 minutes of the movie to the cornfield. Benchley, meanwhile, has, his money, and he has the pup specimen. He gets to his car, but the car battery's dead, so he's going to take a nature walk. Jonathan shows up to the jail. Again, I don't think we ever see the brother ever again, like after he got arrested.
Yeah,
but he shows up
I don't think they even reference him.
No, he shows up to the constable, and he talks to him about like how he's got drone footage of the sharks, and the constable basically just like goes off on him because nobody in town likes him because he came from money and everyone else had to work their asses off. And also, he doesn't appreciate that Jonathan wrote an article about him having an affair and put it in the paper for everyone to know about. And he did not appreciate that.
Fucking Jonathan.
So Jonathan shows him the footage of the sharks in the cornfield, and the constable says a bunch of shit that's literally just like gibberish nonsense words. And then he's like, "There's no sharks there. We're not shutting down the corn." They keep doing this thing, that like the Jaws thing, where they're like, "We're not shutting down the cornfield. People need to eat."
Oh my god, this scene was interminable.
Then Jonathan says, "I know what sharks look like because I've been seeing them in the cornfields." I was like,
damn, that's crazy, bro.
I mean, I'm not gonna
That's the
lie.
only
I think
reason.
the only cool thing in this entire movie, outside of the shark lunging at the helicopter, is seeing the sharks swimming through the cornfield. Is like the only other kind of well done thing with the sharks.
They also like don't explain why the sharks are in the cornfields, though.
I don't
Of
care.
all
I don't
the
need
things,
That's the thing, is I don't need explanations for shit like that. Like, I'll go with it. Just make your movie better.
but then like people keep saying that the images of what are clearly sharks swimming through the cornfield, they're like, "Oh, that's just the clouds." And I was like, "What? How? How is that clouds?" Anyways, this is a fucking stupid thing where this guy cop comes up and gives the lady cop a bag of weapons from a quote unquote peaceful protest, and it's like a gun and a grenade, and I was like, oh, Jesus, will it ever end?
The answer is no.
Mafia boss and sidekick are using the GPS to track Benchley, and they get in a helicopter for some reason. Meanwhile, there's a family playing near the cornfield. They're playing frisbee, and this goes on and on forever. But essentially, the dad throws the frisbee into the corn, so the kid goes in to get the frisbee and then gets eaten by a shark. And I think also there's a really terrible CG thing that happens at the end, and I think it's the kid's head being thrown at them. But I'm not really sure because it was hard to tell what was happening. Okay. Sharkman tells Lady Cop that the fullest blood moon prophecy, about the fullest blood moon prophecy, which is that they've been tracking a real shark in the water, and what they call the becoming is coming. And wearing the shark, first of all, he's like, "That's why I needed to keep my shark tooth, because that's how I'm going to transform." Like, they're not going to let you wear a shark tooth necklace if you've been arrested for murder.
This was driving me fucking crazy until, like, they do finally, like, I'm glad they at least paid that off. But he was like, "That's why I'm still wearing this." And I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So, meanwhile, the constable and the, like, security guard or whatever and the mayor are at the cornfield checking on the attack that just happened with the little boy. Jonathan shows up and says, "You have to release my brother because, like, I have evidence, you know, like, this happened to him this morning. And so, like, here's proof that he didn't do it because he's in jail." And the mayor asks if the Boogaman did it. Not Boogeyman, the Boogaman. I was like, okay, bro. Then he just says a bunch of other, like, nonsense. A lot of these people are what you would say are, like, stereotypical, like, Southerners. So they're like, catch a fried fish on a donkey's butt, or, you know, like, shit like that. Stuff that doesn't... Somebody said something about... I can't remember what it was. Either way, he just says a bunch of nonsense. He's mad about it. And, you know, basically they're talking about how they're not going to close the cornfields because it's corn harvest. People got to eat, et cetera, et cetera. Again, Jonathan shows them the video of the shark swimming around. It tells them about the shark cult, which I'm not totally sure how he knows about the shark cult, actually. There's really no reason that he should know about it, but he does. So there we go. They get a call on a walkie about more sharks in the cornfield, and then the mayor is immediately like, "Okay, well, go see if you can kill the sharks, and if you can't, we'll close the cornfield." And I was like, what? It was like in the same breath that he was like, no, God damn it. So now the mayor and Jonathan are going to go check it out. They're teaming up now. Lady Cop comes across Benchley walking through the woods and asks if she can give him a ride, and he gets in the car and they make small talk. Sharkman can sense that Benchley has the shark pup on him and is talking about like fate and whatnot. The constable and the security guard person go to check out the cornfield and get attacked by a shark. Thank God. This is when Benchley reveals to Lady Cop that he is with the CIA and he has been investigating the shark cult this whole time, and he thought that the cult had ties to the mafia, but now he knows they don't, and something serious is going down. So they decide to team up. Jonathan and the mayor are searching the cornfield, and he gets some shark repellent bracelets delivered by Amazing.com.
Oh my God.
Some guy runs up to him with, like, I don't know what was going on with that delivery guy. He had, like, his shirt above his head, but then he had a mask on his face. And I was like, here you go. And Jonathan's like, I'm a member, so I get it delivered in 4 hours.
I feel like that was definitely somebody that was, like, in that scene that they just, like, covered his face. So, like, it just looked like it was somebody else.
It was probably Corn King again. Anyways, the delivery guy, like, runs into the corn after delivering the package and gets eaten. So, Jonathan puts on the shark repellent bracelet. And the mayor's like, nah, I don't need that. Okay. Finally, Benchley, Sharkman, and Lady Cop arrive at the cornfield. Oh, cool. We're almost done. Sharkman says that all of the sacrifices, he basically says that everyone he's killed as murders, once the ritual is complete, will rise from the dead as hybrid shark people.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, we have to stop this. Like, and Benchley is like, do you have any weapons? And she's like, yeah, I got this bag of weapons from a peaceful protest. And when he goes to pick it up, she knocks him out and reveals that she, too, has a shark tooth necklace. And she goes on this monologue about how nobody appreciates anything that she does, and she's always been a failure, this, that, and the other thing. And basically she wants to join the cult now because she wants to resurrect her sister so that her sister, she can finally do something right and her sister can have another chance. And I'm like, you just found out about this on the drive. Where did you get a fucking necklace from?
No, she's known the whole time. Like, I think, like she was in, after this point, she's fully part of the cult, right? Like, that she doesn't have a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, like, she's
right.
just known the whole time, and she's just like, everything's coming
But she
together.
didn't know her sister was dead until she was interrogating him and learned
I don't know.
about
I
the
think
cult.
the idea is that she does. I think it's supposed to be that, like, knows everything that's going on. That's the way I took it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense either way.
All bad.
Yeah. So,
I'm not saying it was put together well. I just that's just the way I took it.
Like, I get that she turned and, like, joined the cult, which I think is awesome, but I just, like, the timeline doesn't work for me. But it doesn't matter. So Sharkman talks about how the pup specimen is the 13th pup, and he's the final pup. So he is going to reunite it with all of the sacrifices. Meanwhile, in the corn, John and the mayor are, like, running around and shit. John gets, like, knocked out or something. I wasn't really paying attention. But because he's got the shark repellent bracelet, the sharks leave him alone. Okay. Then Sharkman pulls Lady Cop's sister's skull out of a bag, and it's literally like a skull with the wig she was wearing earlier on it, which was just really ridiculous. And then he gives her the shark jawbone thing, and he tells her that she's got to dress up as the scare shark.
Here, tell her about your opinions. you're gonna stop.
Embarrassing.
There we go. What?
Didn't realize I was being recorded.
Yeah. Xerxes is one of those people that charges a fee to be on podcasts, and I owe him $200.
Yeah, right. He wants to-
Hey, I'll have you
There
more
he
money.
is.
Calm down.
He's like, it's 300, loser.
Yeah.
So,
Pay me.
$100 every yell. Lay
That's
down.
a pretty good rate.
Yeah, he's making bank.
Bleeding you dry.
Okay, Benchley comes to, and this is when the mafia boss shows up in a helicopter.
With the microphone
And again,
taped to
this
his
is
head.
What a sentence.
they kept like switching back and forth between them, just being like, "Where is he? There he is," with this like terrible fake, like Godfather violin music playing in the background.
I also like that the helicopter, like when they're sitting in it, is blatantly just like CGI'd in front of them. So it's not even like they found a place. Like you could have like not had the windows. You could have just like shot them in like a closed space and said they were in a helicopter, but they made a point to CGI like the windows in front of them.
Amazing.
Terrible.
So this is when they show up. They're like, Benchley's down there. They show up, and then it's essentially like a zoomed out shot of the cornfield and the helicopter in silhouette, and a shark leaps out of the cornfield and gets the helicopter, and it explodes. Again, like pretty much the best scene in the whole movie.
It's the only one that looks okay, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Jonathan runs out of the cornfield and meets up with Benchley, and they basically just like catch each other up. They don't know each other, but they just catch each other up on like what's been happening in the whole movie, and then they decide that they're going to team up, and that night they're going to wait till nighttime and they're going to destroy the cult. Okay. So it's nighttime, and Sharkman is doing the ritual. Lady Cop is dressed up as the scare shark, and they start tripping out and stuff. Jonathan, then they start showing like people in the corn, and I'm not really sure if they're supposed to be like, obviously I don't know if it's supposed to be like the people having risen already, because one person is wearing like the shark mask again, and then another person is wearing like the neck mask thing that Sharkman was wearing. So like I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but essentially Jonathan sees them and he makes another COVID joke, and I was like, enough.
Yeah, like definitely well before this point I was out of this movie, but like it just, they keep making these same fucking jokes, and I was like, just stop.
Yeah. Sharkman opened the pup specimen container, and it's now like a toy shark inside. Before it was actually kind of like a weird, I don't even know what it was, but it looked like it could have actually been something, and now it's just like a plastic shark. So I guess they lost it or something, I don't know. And they dump the fluid all over the ground right as Stonehenge and the moon align, which I thought was great. Love it. So spooky. And the ritual works. I love it. The Lady Cop becomes Chichimat, however you want to say it, Chichimatl, and they put a little effort. They put more effort into Sharkman, who becomes more of like a weird creature from the Black Lagoon type situation. But they like put some effort into making them look like shark people, and I appreciated that. I thought it was cool. And so they're, shark people now. Jonathan and Benchley come out to fight them, and they're having this like weird standoff where like Lady Cop, Shark Goddess, and Sharkman Fishman are like just standing there going like and like making gurgling and stuff. And right before they're about to fight, Bigfoot comes from behind them in the corn and smashes Sharkman in the head with a boulder. and then leaves.
Thank God Bigfoot ended this
Uh,
fucking movie.
Yeah, and then eventually, what I did laugh at this. Eventually goes, "Have a grenade, bitch!" And he like runs by her and like free throws a grenade into the top of her hat, and she can't fish it out. Get it? So her head explodes. Then there is a shot of a shark swimming away into the distance in the ocean, like a real footage of a real shark. Then Jonathan and Benchley celebrate and basically are just like, wow, Bigfoot's real. That's crazy. I'm going to go write about it in my newspaper. So they walk away into the corn, and then they get into the car and like buckle up or whatever, and then some shark people in the back seat sit up and grab them, and they're like, ah! And then it says, Finn.
Oh my God, there's like a handful of people that like will watch these movies that like, you know, I'll talk to on Instagram. They'll watch the movies when the episodes drop, and I'm all like, this and The Last of Us Skull Force. I was like, don't bother.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, I was like,
Save yourself.
they still end up doing it, but like,
I also have no self-respect.
yeah. I wish I could get away with just not watching the movies we cover.
I wish I could get away with not doing the podcast.
I mean, you could just tell me what happened.
That's true. We should do one where I don't know how this.
I'm
would
not
work.
kidding. The last 2 weeks, I've almost been to the point where I'm like, I'm just gonna let Katie
Okay,
tell me what happened.
we should do one where we pick a movie and I watch it and only tell you guys about it, and then you tell me if you think I made it up.
That's a good idea.
But you would have to you would have to either be all made up or completely straight.
Well, you don't know.
It couldn't be like one of those things where you're like, I was made up. I made this one part up. You know, it would have to be like fully a made up story or completely straight.
Yeah. Or I could just do, maybe what I'll do is I'll have 3 things where I read you like a plot synopsis and you tell me which one's the real movie.
Just be glad that like the week you came back from the wedding, Kit and I didn't do our original plan of every time you started talking, we just interrupted with wrestling talk.
I mean, that's pretty common anyway, so I probably wouldn't have noticed it was a bit.
Wouldn't have blinked an eye.
All right. Any news?
I didn't really see
I think
anything.
the only thing I've seen the last like day or so is they've announced Tobin Bell is coming back as Jigsaw. Fucking bullshit and Saw.
Why?
Great.
Yeah.
I hope it's like not explained that he's just alive and it's like not a
I hope-
prequel.
He never had
I hope-
cancer or anything. He's like, oh yes,
was all
I'm
goof.
just fine.
It
Everything's cool
would
now.
be very funny to me if like it was just a reboot and they just redid Saw, like the first one, and just started over. But with
Without-
Tobin
okay,
Bell.
without, like-
same movie.
Yeah.
But like not acknowledging it, like same actors and everything. I'm into that. I hope he comes back as a ghost.
I'm sure it's gonna be like flashbacks or some shit, but like I don't know, we'll see.
They really shot themselves in the foot by killing him in the third one. Now you've got like fucking 9 movies of flashbacks
No,
just to keep him in
The
it.
problem was they ended it like they made a point of like they, you know, this like number 7 was the last one. We're done, and then like waited a year and
Now
then did
8,
Jigsaw,
9.
and then they did fucking Book of Saw now, and I'll still watch them because I'm a fucking idiot.
That Trump tweet, I was like, it's okay, I'll still drink that garbage.
All right. Katie, what'd you watch this week?
Saw.
The entire Saw franchise. No, I watched wow. I watched this movie called The Woods from 2006.
The Bruce
That
Campbell
was
one?
no. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. He was the dad. Yes. And it was like essentially about like a girl boarding school, but like stuff is weird. And I actually really liked it. It's like kind of exactly my movie. So I enjoyed that. Then I watched The Curve, or Dead Man's Curve, which is essentially another movie about if your roommate commits suicide, you get a 4.0. But it had Matthew Lillard, Kerry Russell, and Michael Barton in it. Not Michael, yeah, whoever. It was okay.
I don't think I've ever even heard of that.
I don't know. So I hadn't either, and it just was on Tubi, and I watched it. But yeah, it's like the same plot as, what was that movie? I keep getting it mixed up with, it's not Dead Man on Campus, is it?
The Zach Morris one?
Is it? That's the one where they were trying to get their roommate to kill him
Yeah,
what's
that's the one.
McLaughlin.
It's got
Yeah.
Paul Gosselaar in it.
Yeah, so it was basically the same plot as that, but then there's like kind of a twist or whatever, and it was like entertaining for what it was. I thought it was fine. Then I watched Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which I actually really liked. It felt, I recalled the short story, and like I liked the short story when I read it, and it felt pretty much like the short story, so like I thought it was fine. And then I watched and finished The Midnight Club, which I liked, but I felt like, obviously it's a little bit different than like Hill House and Midnight Mass and all that stuff, because it's about teenagers and like it's based off of material that's for teenagers, so it had a different feel to it, and I liked it overall, but I think there's definitely things that were a miss for me. And I
saw a lot of complaints about whatever the ending is. I don't need it explained to me. I'm never going to watch it, but I'm just like, yeah, there's a lot of people that were like...
Well, the thing about all of those shows, Blind Manor including, is that they are heart-wrenching the entire time, and this one is no exception. Obviously, just because of what it's about, right? It's about like terminally ill kids, so stuff happens. I was sobbing the whole time. I'm not saying it wasn't good writing, but it's like the thing with those other shows is that there's always something insane that happens at the end that just leaves you being like, literally your life is ruined. And I feel like The Midnight Club was extremely anticlimactic in that there wasn't a big thing that happened, and it just kind of like ended. I felt like there wasn't a real ending. So I don't know if they're gonna maybe do another season. I haven't heard anything about that, but I just was like extremely underwhelmed for how much I enjoyed the rest of the series. But anyways, and then I started the Guillermo del Toro Cabinet of Curiosity.
Oh, I don't know. That
Yeah, I didn't either.
The first 2 episodes, they must have just come out today, maybe, because after I finished Midnight Club, it popped up if I wanted to watch it. And there's only 2. So I watched those, and they're fun. They're, just basic, like, Tales from the Crypt style, like, stories.
Perfect. All I want.
Yeah, so, yep.
I am very upset that apparently we've just reverted back to 1 episode a week. Shit for, like, everything now.
Yeah. I'm too impatient for that. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch we started it because we were just like wanting something to watch, that like 101 Scariest Moments thing on Shudder, but there's still like a full episode left to like come out, and I want to watch Queer for Fear, but I'm just waiting for the whole thing so I can just watch all of it. Like, I'm not doing this week by week, because at this point what happens is I watch an episode and then I immediately lose interest like in the week that follows and just never go back to it,
or I forget what happened and I'm like, ugh.
That's like periodic, because I listen to that 90 Day Fiance podcast, and it gets to a point where I'll watch like 3 episodes and then I have to wait like a week for the next episode to come out, and then I just never go back and I just listen to the podcast without actually watching it.
Yeah.
Kit, what'd you watch?
I had it pulled up and I looked away. Hostel. Terrible. Awful decision. Garbage fucking film. I don't know
Terrible.
what possessed me to do it.
Have you seen it before?
Nope, I've never seen it before. Because I was like, this looks like dog shit. And Once again, I'm correct.
Yeah. If Eli Roth's name
think
is attached
that-
to it, you're pretty safe to just say it's dog shit.
The day I saw Hostel in theaters, I think is the day my life started going wrong.
Ever since Hostel came out, and the world's been steady
I
decline.
think so, honestly. I think so.
Like, the thing I'll say is, like, at least the Saw movies have, like, interesting twists in them to make them, like, stand out a
Yeah.
little bit. Hostel's just, like, I don't know. Those movies are so fucking boring, and it's just, like, gore for the
Awful
sake
people
of
being
gore.
awful
Yeah.
for an hour and a
Yeah.
half.
It's all bad. Don't
Yup.
watch Eli Roth movies.
No.
I'm
Boo.
still gonna rewatch Cabin Fever. It's the only one I'll allow.
Oh, God, I hated that. That's one I saw in the theater that I was like, I hate this.
I did too. Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I don't know why.
In a good way,
I
unlike
like-
all of his other shit.
It was one of those things that, like, for a while, I'd be like, I would, like, give, like, a movie would come out of his, I'd be like, okay, well, this can't be as bad as, like, the last one.
Wrong.
And I think I made it to, like, Knock Knock, and I was like, I'm never watching an Eli Roth movie again.
Let's see. I watched The Dead Pit, which I don't even fucking remember anything about, but I gave it 2.5 stars.
I've had that on my watch list for like years, I feel like. So, maybe
It's
I
one that
will.
I've seen the cover for like
Yeah.
decades now, and it's like I'm just gonna hit play on this, and like I remember there were some cool kills, but I don't remember anything about it other than that.
Yeah.
That's when I rented as, like, a 13-year-old or something that I don't think I've seen since.
Maybe I'll
Um,
skip it then.
Not really worth a revisit. I don't think.
It's one of those
But it's
movies that,
fine.
like you said, like, one day I'll just be like, just gonna hit play. But
Yeah, pretty much. Perfect movie for that. I watched The Omen for the first time.
hell yeah,
That movie whips ass.
that's so
Ooh.
good. The
So
the
good.
sequels
I
are,
can't believe
like,
it took me so long.
surprisingly fun. Like, they're pretty stupid,
Yeah.
but, like, I find them fun.
I need to dive into those because I think HBO has them all.
Oh,
I'd only ever seen the remake
Oh,
before.
man, it's so bad.
Yeah, and the remake's fucking stupid.
It's like,
yeah.
it's maybe second only to, like, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake is, like, the worst.
So the dude having his head lopped off by the glass out of the back of the truck, incredible.
It's so good. Just goes, like, spinning off.
Yeah, they don't like pull any punches either. They just like slow mo. Like we're gonna watch his whole head fly off and then where it goes for 20 seconds. Amazing, love it. And then I watched VHS 99. It was like solid, it's pretty good.
I don't think I've seen any of those, actually.
The first, I don't know. I like the first 3, I think. Or like, the problem with the VHS things is I feel like there's always one really great segment and then a bunch that I'm just like, this is fine, I guess. But I did not
Yeah.
like 99 except for the Connor Sweeney cameo or whatever.
Yeah, I've liked them all to varying degrees. Like I think this was probably my least favorite out of the 4
Yeah, it's
now.
between this and I think Viral for me is like my least favorite.
Yeah, I see people shit on Viral all the time, but I really liked Viral because it's just 3 segments, and one of them's good, one's great, and then the other one's not very good. So it's like, it's pretty good.
I should like rewatch it because I had like the knee jerk. I don't think I've seen it other than since it came out, but I remember really not liking it when it first came out. But I wonder like, because that's the one that's like got the weird skateboard segment, right?
Yeah, that's the one I didn't like.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
like the one
fucking
that's
stupid.
Like it's one of those things where I think that I just think of that segment because I can't remember the other ones. So and like, that's the one that's got like they're chasing like the ice cream truck or some shit as like the wraparound stuff.
The like wraparound.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like found footage. And then, like, I feel like everything in that franchise has been downhill after the fucking cult one.
Oh, yeah. It's hard
Yeah.
to top that.
Are they?
I liked...
Are the segments all found footage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So it's like
Oh,
it's
shit.
its thing
there's some
because they're all like supposed to be VHS tapes that people have found.
yeah, they are
So it's like home video stuff.
there's always some like thing attaching them. Like the first movie, you're like following these people that like break into a house and are like going through these VHS tapes or something, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like shit like that.
An abandoned house that had a bunch of VHS tapes and they're watching them.
I really like the premise. I just feel like, especially the last two, like I don't know, for some reason, like the 90s stuff in them just feels so like forced and fake to me that like it kind of takes me out of it a little bit. But
I liked 94 a lot.
I like the
94 is up there.
the one
for
segment
me.
with like that. Is Timo the one that does? Is that
Yeah.
I can never
Timo doing Wolfenstein, basically.
Yeah, like I can never remember like if he's the director of that segment or not. But that segment rocks. And then like the other stuff in it, I did not like the vampire one with the fucking weird.
I love the vampire one. It started off real slow, but by the end I was like, yeah.
That's the thing is
this
I
good.
feel like if your segment is like 15 minutes long, I'm like I don't know, I want like more out of it. I don't know. I had a lot of issues with 94, but
I guess I have to watch all of them
I mean, I
now.
think you would like them specifically. They seem like they'd be pretty up your alley. They're just like I've talked about. I'm not a found footage person, and
If you watch them in order, one's a little hit or miss, but I think two will sell you on
two's
it.
probably the best out of all of them.
Yeah,
that
I think
Okay.
so.
cult segment one is done so well.
It's incredible.
I remember like watching that for the first time. Like this is like
Fucking blew my mind.
maybe the best use of found footage, like as a
All right,
genre.
I'm in.
Was that it, Kit?
Yeah, that was it.
All right.
Other than corn sharks.
Let's see. I watched a bunch of shit because I had 3 days that I was supposed to go to that I took off for Horathon and ended up not going because Lexi got sick, so I stayed home with him. So I spent 3 days basically just watching movies, which was pretty cool. So I watched Naked Killer, which is a Cat 3 movie with Simon Yam that rocks. High recommend if you could find a good version of it. I watched Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter, which is like a 1990 movie that is pretty much all there in the title. It's a reporter that gets this Xerxes. Come on. He gets thrown into like a vat of something and for trying to report on some like nuclear power plant bullshit and comes back all melty and it kind of rocks. I got the Bondo Macabro, I forget their fucking name, release of A Haunted Turkish Bathhouse. Also incredible. Just a weird black cat haunting movie from China, which I followed up with VHS 99. Don't know if y'all have heard of that one or not.
Little known film.
I watched Born to Fight, Cop Game, and Double Target, which Severin just released. Just like 3 Bruno Mattei movies about essentially dudes in Vietnam trying to get out of Vietnam. And they're all pretty good. I think I gave them all like 2.5 stars. Like they're fine. They're pretty fun, but like also like if you've seen one of them, you've kind of seen all of them. I watched Final Flesh, which is one of the most baffling, incredible movies I've ever seen. It's the guy that
I
did
agree.
was like part of Wonder Chosen, wrote a movie in 4 parts, sent the 4 parts to this website that would make like personalized like porn content for you. But he just
What?
he sent this script to this movie to this website and told them to just do completely straight. They got to make whatever decisions as long as they followed his script. So like they could put whatever props, all that shit, do whatever. And it's one of the most insane things I've ever seen. I can't say it's for everybody, but I had a fun time with it.
Amazing.
It's wild. Like almost every line is a non sequitur, so like nothing really makes sense. And it's just like people that like can't act doing their best. I don't know. It's pretty fun. Let's see. Oh, I then watched Flesh for Frankenstein. Banger.
Yeah.
Udo Kier, fucking killing it. I watched the double feature thing of Horror High and Stanley that Vinegar Syndrome put out. Horror High is pretty fun. Stanley was pretty bad. Winter Beast. Banger. Absolutely incredible special effects in that movie.
What a film.
I then watched Hot Snake and Guns and Guts, which is...
Now, how are those?
I mean, they're fine. I've been pretty clear on how much I'm not a Westerns fan. But, like, you know, the Italian ones are always at least interesting. I don't... It's something that, like, if I think wasn't part of, like, a bundle in my subscription, I would not have gotten. But, like, they're totally fine. I watched Human Lanterns. Also a banger. Movie rocks.
Yeah, that movie fucking rips.
It's so good. Finally got around to the Visual Vengeance release of LA AIDS Jabber, which was way less upsetting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, same.
Pretty good. Like, after listening to, like, the director's commentary where, like, they kept asking him questions. They're like, oh, who's this actor? He's like, I don't know. Oh, what'd they do after this? He's like, I don't know. I didn't look into it. Like, it's just like I had, like, no idea what anyone was doing. But he talked about how, like, almost every shot in the movie was, like, we would just show up wherever we thought was, like, a cool location and just film and get the fuck out of there before the police showed up kind of thing. So, like, it was very much like a very sort of, like, very DIY movie, and kind of made me enjoy it a lot more than I probably would have otherwise. I then dug into the Vinegar Syndrome Miami Connection Blu-ray, which has, like, the regular version and then the Escape from Miami version, which is, like, got, like, sort of, like, extra footage, including an ending, like, a downer ending as opposed to, like, the fun ending. And it's, like, the fun ending's a lot better, but I don't know, it was interesting to see, like, the original cut of it where, like, the dude dies at the end and never gets to meet his dad. And there's, like, some fun, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, including, like, I guess it's some con or something Dragon Sound reunited and played on stage. It's pretty sick. I then watched Visual Vengeance release of Moonchild, which is also pretty fun. Also, not really a werewolf movie. There's not a werewolf except for maybe the last, like, 2 minutes of the movie. But when there is, it's incredible.
So that clip you sent me was fantastic.
It's, like, if you go in, I think now you knowing, like, more of what it is after I told you it was, like, blatantly not a werewolf movie, I think you'll enjoy it. Like, it took me, I watched it twice, because they have, like, the cleaned up version, and then they have, like, what, you know, the original VHS version on it, so I just watched both. And I kind of enjoyed the VHS version more, because it just, like, made it look grimier.
Yeah,
and, like,
feels right.
Yeah. And so, watching it the second time, I enjoyed it a lot more. But it was, like, the first time I was watching it, I was like, this is just, like a post-apocalyptic movie that, like, you know, I also am on board with, but I was like, why? This is, like, heavily promoted as, like, a werewolf.
Yeah, there's a werewolf on the cover.
It's not, but it's still pretty fun. Like I said, there's, like,
no, it's called Moonchild.
Yeah, there's, like, some ridiculous, like, quote unquote high speed, like, fight scenes where people are, like, fighting in, like, their cars next to each other that they're blatantly doing like 5 miles per hour under like some fucking like overpass in LA somewhere.
So sick. I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Yeah, and then I started that 101 scariest movie moments thing, and so far, not. I mean, it's fine. It's like not, it is what it is. But there's like some very strange choices I've had in the first 2 episodes, or that I forget what I texted y'all about it, where I was like, "How the fuck is this above Aliens?" And I can't remember what it was. Something real stupid that.
Oh, I can't even
Yeah, I
remember
don't
if
know.
we were mad about it though.
I was just like, come on. It was something like, oh yeah, the Babadook, saying the Babadook was
Oh yeah, that's right.
scarier than Aliens.
Mm.
And I'm like, only
No.
as
Old
much
Mr.
as that
Dookie.
it made me never want to have kids, even though I had made that, I definitely made that decision well before, but...
I know.
Alright, shout-outs. Katie.
I know I already shouted this out before, but I'm gonna shout it out again. The game, The Cult of the Lamb, because I got it finally, and it's amazing. I love it. They're doing well, I don't know if this is still going on next week, but they're doing their first like seasonal event. So they're doing like a spooky event right now, and like the game's already kind of spooky because like you're a lamb with like
Cult.
demon powers, and you're like getting a cult together. But it's actually really fun. The part of it that is like the cult part is actually a lot harder than the game is a lot more complex than I thought, just by looking at it from the outside, because you have to it's kind of like a sim in a way, because on your like little plot of cult land, you have to like make sure that your devotees are like eating. You have to clean up their poop. You have to like give sermons and do stuff to make sure that they're still like happy and following you, because otherwise they'll dissent and they'll try and like turn other little creatures against you, and then you have to like kill them. So it's a lot, but it's really fun, because like the gameplay part of it is kind of like a hack and slash, but it's like it's like one of those like randomized dungeon crawlers. So like when you go into the world part of it to like fight, you're going to get like resources for your cult, and you get different power-ups. So you could do like the same runs over and over again. You get to like pick the path you want to go on, and you get different level ups, but every time you do one, you start from scratch, so you could get different power-ups and stuff. So I don't know, it's really fun. So now it's a shout out for real, because it can confirm that it's good.
I don't know what any of that was about, so I've never heard. Even though you said you've
Video
shouted it out
game.
before, I'm pretty sure that's the first time I've ever heard about that game. What about you, Kit?
Merciful Fate. I'm gonna go see Merciful Fate in a couple hours.
Oh, yeah,
They rock. King Diamond's the best.
it's wild that he's still playing shows.
Still unsure. I
Right.
was gonna say still unsure if you're talking about a band or wrestling.
Both.
Yeah, why not both?
I mean, 9 times out of 10, I feel like that's true.
My shout out, "The Loneliest Time" by Carly Rae Jepsen. Banger.
Ew.
Katie hates it. Even though she's probably only
It's
heard
like-
literally 10 seconds of any song off it from fucking
Katie's a
TikTok.
Swiftie.
No, the worst day of my life recently has been that they both released albums on the same day, and I just was like, no internet for me for a week.
Yeah, just block
Like, how
anybody
am I
who's
on-
talking about Taylor Swift. Other than
I
all
tried
of
to
the
do
people that
both.
are like posting shit like Merzbow having a higher score from Pitchfork or fucking whatever than the Taylor Swift album.
I did one of those, and it just is still getting likes, and it's like, okay, I'm muting this. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, I
That's
don't.
been the only like fun thing to come out of that fucking album.
Yeah. Suckers.
All right. Next week, I'm gonna give you all a choice: Bigfoot movie or exorcism movie.
Bigfoot.
Oh,
I'll tell you.
I would pick Exorcism.
Well, I'll tell you this: the Exorcism movie's 84 minutes. The Bigfoot movie's 64 minutes.
Oh, who? What is this, like a Tubi Bigfoot movie?
They're both on Tubi.
Or...
I'll tell you that.
Oh. Dealer's choice. You're the tiebreaker.
All right, we're gonna do The Badge, The Bible, and Bigfoot.
Oh
God.
my, no, that's even worse than I expected.
A movie where the director spelled her name wrong on the poster.
Fuck
I love
yes.
it. Thank God. It's Christmas Twister all over again. Christmas Twister.
I had tweeted about this fucking movie sometime last year, and somehow like somebody found it and like retweeted it recently, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I never watched this. So it's gonna be real bad. I think Shane's gonna join us. So.
Oh wow, yeah, that looks awful. Fucking thin blue line flag draped over her shoulders.
Yeah, so the director of this made an exorcism movie about her quote unquote real life possession story.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, I gotta see that too.
Fuck yes.
So
was that
one man,
movie?
one god, one beast.
Is this like a love movie? Is it a love story?
I don't know. It's
A
about
cop falls in love with Bigfoot?
no.
Oh, that reminds me. Thank you for saying that, Katie. That reminds me of a movie I've got to choose for this.
Ooh, what is it? I want to know a movie about somebody falling in love with Bigfoot.
Not Bigfoot, but a dog.
Oh no.
I guess I'm in.
It's not a horror movie, so it's gonna be a like bonus episode thing. But y'all just y'all stay tuned.
All right, I'm in.
It's been what I've been meaning to watch for a while.
So nobody watched The Badge, The Bible, and Bigfoot.
Probably not.
I mean, it's
Except
a 2.1, but it only has 80 ratings, and literally they're all like half a star, except for like I'm guessing the family that made it.
Fantastic.
They've made a bunch of movies. They all look real bad. There's that one, Halloween Hero, which isn't streaming anywhere.
Oh.
That's just
Devastating.
a
Devastating loss.
retired police officer and loses his wife in a violent attack and then takes it out on his community on Halloween or some shit. There's Christmas
God.
Zombies, which is also not streaming anywhere.
Wow.
There's Fighting Chupacabra. Let's see, Fighting Chupacabra and Cartel in Mexico, which I'm assuming is very racist.
Oh.
They then have a Christmas dog movie called The Christmas Doodle. And then they let their 12-year-old daughter direct a movie called Boxes and Blessings.
Great.
Christ.
About I don't know, just family being the worst. I'm not sure. I'm never watching that. But I'm definitely gonna watch this one and the fucking exorcism one at some point, because I need to find out about this true life exorcism.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, if you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. We released a bunch of fucking bonus episodes this month that you can go listen to at our we have a bonus episode dropping the day after this comes out. 'Cause yeah, this comes out on Halloween.
Aww.
On
Happy Halloween.
3
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. What they said. We'll have a episode on 3 movies based on like true stories. That it's The Haunting of Sharon Tate, The Untold Story, and The Ghost in the Darkness. I've only seen one of these. I don't know what the other 2.
You can easily match
Yeah.
those 3 movies to the person that picked them.
Not looking forward to The Haunting of Sharon Tate with its 1.1 star rating.
Same.
I have been literally trying to do this movie on the podcast for years. I've never seen it, but I love Hilary Duff, and I just can't even imagine what this movie is going to be.
I had no idea Hilary Duff was involved.
She is the
Fuck me.
producer
There it is.
and plays Sharon Tate.
Listen, she is a magic. she's fine. She'll get us through
Look,
it.
it's from the director of the like 4-hour Nightmare on Elm Street documentary and the like 3-hour Friday the 13th documentary.
Perfect. So she knows. They know what they're doing then.
And then a documentary on Scream. And oh boy,
no.
the Amityville Murders movie I watched that was fucking horrendous. This is gonna be dog shit. I'm not.
Wait, is it that Scream documentary I watched where it was actually about people trying to ghost hunt?
I don't know. It says Scream: The Inside Story. It's
No, that is it. Oh, this is gonna be bad.
no, yeah, this is definitely gonna be bad. He also directed The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson, which I assume is also terrible. It's got a 0.9 rating with over 1,000 reviews.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
Oh no.
She'll watch that instead. So that's gonna be bad. At least 2 of these movies for the bonus episode will be good.
Wow. I think that's relative.
Yeah, so yeah, you can join our Patreon to hear that and the fucking, I don't know, 6 episodes or some shit that got released on Patreon this month, including Morbius getting morbed. You can buy merch at our store Frontier shop. I don't have any of this pulled up. I don't remember what else. You can follow Kit at Hidden Kitstery and Kitrification of Blood to find out how Merciful Fate went. Find out if it was a wrestling show or not. You can follow Katie at Werewolf Face and join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. Get some Chicken McNugget spooky Halloween stickers.
Yeah, not real Chicken McNugget, sorry.
No, yeah, it's just a Chicken McNugget with a costume on. Just a real one.
The best.
Katie will send you a real Chicken McNugget with a costume on it.
Listen, I don't think that would surprise anybody if I did that.
It'd surprise me if I got a Chicken McNugget in the mail.
Yours would be a corn McNugget, not a real Chicken McNugget.
You can listen to my other podcast, 8K Movie Club. I don't remember if I said something in the last episode, but I was on Contra Zoom talking about Tusk. You can listen to that. I think I did, but I can't remember, so I'm saying it again. I don't watch The Badge, The Bible, and Bigfoot.
Unless you're Shane.
They're
Yeah.
They're already going to get like 4 cents out of us watching it, so don't give them any more money.
Please.
4 cents.
I feel like that's about what, I don't know what Tubi pays per stream, but I can't imagine it's a lot.
No, definitely not.
Alright, I hope you did not watch Sharks of the Corn, but why?
Yeah.